Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome to the DSL V8 SuperCup, Season 3, Round number 4 from Motorsport Arena Oschersleben in Germany. One of the newest circuits to the iRacing calendar, the iRacing service. Big welcome to everyone joining us tonight here on SimSpeed. I'm not Jake Sperry, I'm Jay Kennedy filling in for Sperry, who's having some technical issues, but alongside me as ever, as he has been for every round this season. Joining us in the commentary box, we've got Brady Baldwin. Brady, big welcome along to you. Big welcome for another night of really intense V8 SuperCup action.
Yeah, thank you, Jay, for the introduction, and should put on some really good racing. We've seen last one in the V8 Veterans Series, some really good racing at this new circuit. So looking forward to tonight, another 150-kilometre race, 41 laps, a little bit of strategy, and going to have it all tonight.
Definitely will. It's a very, very unique circuit in the middle of Germany. The third permanent race course built in Germany. A little bit unknown to most people, but infamous for all the wrong reasons with that horrible turn one. John Clallan roasting it in the World Touring Car Championship back in the day. But right in the middle of Germany, this circuit located. And it is a quite interesting circuit for these tracks, for these cars, I should say. It's very, very long straights, big, heavy braking zones, and a lot of flow needed for this circuit to make it work.
Yeah, certainly. It's probably not one of the easiest tracks in these big V8 touring cars. You go through turn one at Duan corner, you got to commit really, really hard, and then get your apex right through Hotel, and then a triple left-hand corner, similar to Istanbul Park, then to the unnamed turn 7, another very difficult corner. Then you go through 8 to 10 McDonald's, another very committed corner. You got to carry a lot of speed through there, down to the back straight. Then you go through the Shell curve, the Man curve, the Bauer curve, and then to Saxon and Holt, the final corner. Probably the two best overtaking opportunities at turn 13 and 14.
Yeah, you can potentially get it done at 11, but not easy to do. And turn 1 is not a big passing opportunity as you would expect at this circuit. Let's have a look at the championship standings as they are coming into tonight, because we've seen a little bit of a runaway at the front, but everywhere else is relatively close. Andrew Dyson, of course, leading the championship, 2 wins from 3 races and 3 wins for simrigs.com DPR, but Dyson got a massive gap back to Vandel, but everywhere back from there, it is well and truly on. This is a fairly close championship from second on back.
Yeah, certainly. Every week so far has provided some very good racing, and we've seen Andrew Dyson pretty much run away with it at the end last week after a fantastic battle with Thomas Freeman. But like we see in the standings there, Sebastian Vandel, Blake Delaney, Mulford, Taliancic are all right there in the hunt. But at the moment, it's Dyson's championship to lose.
100%. You see tie there for 4th as well between Mulford and Taliancic. Some interesting names that have joined us for tonight we'll go through during qualifying, but this is the format as ever. 60 minutes of practice already done. Qualifying is currently underway. There are about 6 odd minutes to remain in the qualifying session. But 41 laps of racing. We've seen the pit strategy be relatively standard in these rounds, but that will chop and change as we get into the 200k enduros in the coming weeks. It does provide a little bit of a window though, and if a safety car comes out at the right/wrong point, can absolutely mix up this field.
Yeah, we've seen last week at Snetterton, the second safety car really plagued its head in that race. It really brought Andrew Dyson right back into the game. Otherwise, I thought he was really out of it with his strategy call, pitting on that first safety car. So, like you said, Jay, these safety cars can really change and make these races.
100% can, and we will likely see a safety car throughout. We've seen one at each and every round so far. Fingers crossed we don't. We'd love to see some good, clean racing. As you said, we did have other V8 racing last night in the Vets Championship at this track, and it was relatively clean. We were a bit worried that it might be a bit messy with this being the first time running at this circuit, but it was a little bit cleaner than we expected. But the racing this track does provide is very, very intense. As you can see in the timing at the moment, Dylan O'Shea on top, Andrew Dyson second, Thomas Freeman in third. Interesting, the gap between our first to second, second to third, and third to fourth is identical. Just on 7/100ths of a second between all of them. Not much separating those guys at all.
No, it just shows how close these top 4 guys are. O'Shea, Dyson, Freeman and Warboys been the class of the field really all series. A bit of bad luck for Blake Warboys last week, and Dylan O'Shea, our round 1 winner, hasn't been present for the last 2 rounds, and his teammate Dyson has picked up the slack there for simrigs.com DPR. So those 4 will be the ones to watch for sure, and behind them there's still a little battle pack there by the looks of it, just from the times between Vandel, Hinsey, Borg, and Brendan Nishka. So I think it's going to provide some really good racing all night.
And those names you just mentioned too, new to the series as well, Brian Borg and Thomas Hinz joining the series tonight, starting their first round tonight. And we were talking before we started, huge field of drivers in the Pro Championship. Top 25 in qualifying as it is now are Pro. Sportsman leading car is in 26, Troy Mortensen. So huge gaggle of cars at the top of the field in this Pro field. It's going to make the racing really interesting when it comes later on, and traffic could play an issue as we get later on into the race, especially with this being such a new track. Not many drivers would have done too many races, and I mean, you race at all different circuits all the time, but after you've raced a few times at a track, you know where you can let people go, you know what corners you can run at a little bit of a different line to allow overtaking to be a bit easier. Lap traffic could play a factor later tonight.
Yeah, certainly, and like you touched on, it's fantastic to see a huge field tonight at this new track. You know, I was a little bit skeptical whether people would come out and support it. Being a new track, a little bit of a tighter ice, I call it a little bit of a bigger Winton circuit in my eyes, and wasn't sure how good of a field we would get, but they've turned it on tonight, and some really good drivers in this field, and we see a couple that did race last night, so they will have a little bit of an advantage coming in tonight with some extra laps under their belt.
100%. You've had experience racing at this track. You're going to have a little bit of a heads-up advantage over everyone else in the field, because it is not the easiest circuit to wrap your head around. Some of the corners we saw on the track map there, they go a little bit more than 90 degrees, and often you get a little bit thrown when you go through a corner that's, you know, you feel like naturally 90 degrees, 180 degrees, that's the natural flow of a corner, but you got corners there like turn 7 that we just saw O'Shea go through. That's what, 220, 230 degrees. You turn a little bit to the left and then you hook hairpin right, and it's a huge hairpin. The amount of load you have on the tyres is intense.
Yeah, certainly the few laps I've done myself around here, I've certainly struggled around this circuit. It's a very hard track to get your head around. It seems like the apex is just never end, or it's very hard to find an apex to begin with. So these drivers will certainly be faced with a challenge tonight, as it always is with the new track on the service, and probably not the most ideal track for these big heavy cars, but like we've seen last night, it can provide some really good race, and we've got some of the best in business here. So I'm looking forward to it, and should put on a pretty good show. 100%.
We will stick with this lap for Dylan O'Shea. This is his last chance to improve that time. As we said, currently P1. Best lap is a 124.2. We did a look earlier. We were watching Andy Barber finish his lap. That was an improvement for him, but still puts him in the bottom of the pro field in 21st. But Barber's been one to watch throughout this series, hasn't he? He's just seemed to gain positions regardless of what he does. He just finds a way forward. Last week didn't have the best result, but the first 2 rounds, he just overtakes, stays out of trouble and gains spots, doesn't he?
Yeah, certainly sounds like my career. Can't qualify, but can race half okay. You'll see that throughout the field. Some guys, qualifying just isn't their strength at all, but they can race really well, race head-to-head. Looks like Dylan O'Shea on a pretty committed lap at the moment. He's using all the road. The car's sliding just a little bit on the exit of turn number 10 there through McDonald's. He's now come up the shell curve. He has just, as you said before, Jay, just under a 10th of a second gap to Andrew Dyson, his teammate. So we'll see if he can put something together on this final lap.
O'Shea has just lost P1 as well. Andrew Dyson has just pipped him by 200ths of a second. So Dyson now to P1. O'Shea needs this lap. Or will he just give up a little bit to help his teammate out, make sure his teammate's got P1? I don't think so. He's going to take it. That is P1, new pole position back to Dylan O'Shea. A very, very nice lap. No, it's not. My timing's tricked me. It said a 1, but it's come up as a 3. He's not going to improve. Luke Swan's on a decent lap here, though. We'll see what he can do. He has been one that's been probably outperforming what we may have expected from him. His qualifying has been pretty decent as Brendan Nitschke goes up into position number 5.
Yeah, certainly Nishka, one of those guys that ran last night, so expect that 066 Frog Leap racing car up the front and contending for a top 5, even a podium tonight. But like you said, Luke Swan in the 55 machine, Iridium SimSport, SimShed Broadcasting, he's been really good this season, exceeding my expectations of him. I've seen him running just a little bit in the V8 scene, and he's doing a really good job, and looks like he's on a pretty tight lap at the moment as he just misses the apex there just a little bit. He's on a 25-1 best lap at the moment. We'll see if he can push on and continue for a lap, and it looks like he aborts that lap.
As Brian Borg is about to finish his lap, what will he get out of this one in the racecraft entry? I don't know if he's going to push on for the end of this lap. Looks like he might be a little bit too far down and practice a pit entry here, and right on cue he does. Mike Taliancic will do the same. We did see Tom Pritchard come up through the last couple of corners. This looks like a lap he is going to finish. Currently it's 26th position, the last of our qualifiers in Pro. We'll see if he can improve. Currently a 26.0 is his best. That looks like it will be an improvement. How many spots will he gain? No, none. It's tricked me again. Not going to trust the timing tonight on the overlays, but that is qualifying done, and we can run through our starting grid. As we said before, it is stacked. This is a huge field, this series. Top 26 will be in your pro class, which will be listed in green, and our blue listed drivers will be the sports class. That doesn't look like the right order, does it? Let's try this again. That looks a bit better. Andrew Dyson on pole, Dylan O'Shea in second, with Freeman and Warboys on row number 2. Brendan Nitschke and Thomas Hinds on the third row. From there we go back to Seb Vardell and Brian Borg, with Luke Swan, Connor Nixon rounding out the top 10, Jamie Dyke and Teo Sorono rounding out the top 12 positions.
Michael Taliancic in the 777 machine will start from position number 13, joined with him on row 7 with Michael Whiting. Aidan Ford and Matt Stewart, row 8. Jack Mitchelson and Tim Mulford will be row number 9. Bruce Tanek and Blake Delaney, one of the biggest movers last week's race, will start in position number 20. Jake Jackson, then Harry Dodds, row 11, and we'll go back to Andy Barber and Jai Schultz, row number 12. From
there, we'll get a bit of a mix of pro and sports. The last two that put in lap times in pro, super pro, Coleman and Pritchard. Not much between them. And we go back to Troy Mortensen, who leads the sportsman class with Martin Hallinan alongside him. Ty Delaney and Matthew Shanahan. Delaney's been very, very good in sportsman throughout, so watch him make his way forward. John Fillingham and Jack Anderson on the 16th row overall. Will Jesberg and Aidan Schultz back one more row. Chris Tomlin and Shane Ewans rounding out the top 36. The last couple of drivers have got Rick Kuznetsov, PJ Whiteman, I think Brady Baldwin. I don't think you're racing, mate. You can just sit and watch from here, but what a strong field it is. There's a heap of drivers out there.
Yeah, certainly a massive field. 38 cars, so a huge field. And once again, interesting strategy for the Triple Eight Rick Koneskov. We've seen him at Silverstone come from the back of the field and get a top 5. So I don't think he's going to have it all his way today on a lot tighter, harder circuit to pass on, but certainly going to be one to watch. Certainly if you have a safety car and bunches up the field, the Triple Eight could be on.
100%, you will be one to watch throughout this race as we get ready to take the green flag. How good is it to see a full field of Australian touring cars on a track? Such a cool field. Massive field. Congratulations to the series on a huge attendance for this one. So we get ready to get the green flag. Here we go. We are away, and a really good jump at the front there from Dyson. 3 wide behind. This could get messy very, very quickly.
Yeah, certainly Nishka got a fantastic launch away. He's going to battle for P2 after starting P5. The 066 is in the O'Shea. Dyson is wide. The championship leader has made a mistake. Turn 1. He's run wide. We've seen a lot of people do that last night. It's an easy mistake to do. Everyone else gets through clean. Nishka and Dylan O'Shea are side by side for the lead. Warboy's sticking now down the inside. He'll get second. O'Shea looks like he's going to try and run away with it.
Yep, O'Shea's trying to make sure he keeps it as a Simrigs DPR streak of wins in this series, but there are a lot of drivers who are trying to find their way forward. That's huge for the championship leader. He is currently sitting, where's that, 23rd position at the moment. So he's already gaining a couple of spots back, but this group at the front here between O'Shea, Warboys, Freeman, Nitschke Vandal and Borg, it is well and truly on here.
Yeah, certainly. And looking for the championship, P2 in the championship, Vandal, he's currently in P5, so potential to make a lot of positions back, as we might have a little bit of trouble in the background with David Coleman.
Coleman's lost a few spots here, the 640. You can see him dropping back through positions, now seeing him in P29. So we'll try and pick up a replay in a little bit as to what has gone on there. But I can see that Borg is trying to apply a bit of pressure here to Thomas Hinds, the two newcomers to the series. But they are not newcomers to this car in the slightest. They know what's going on in these things. Two of the most experienced in the field make their way through turns 1 and 2. What an eventful first lap. The race leader breaks away with a beautiful start, but can't get it pulled up for turn 2.
Yeah, certainly a big mistake there for Andrew Dyson. Luckily for him, he definitely has the speed and capability to get through the field, but you know, I don't think he was planning on running wide and having to come through the field tonight. But other than that, Dylan O'Shea looks like he's got a little bit of a lead over Warboys and Freeman. Those three have streaked away, while Brendan Nishka in P4 looks like he's holding up a massive train at the moment. Vandal, Hinds, Borg, and even Jamie Dyke, Mocker Whiting are all stacked up behind him. This, I think, might get ugly very soon.
I agree. This is a recipe for disaster, you feel. Something is going to break in this group. I know, not in a good way. It's going to turn bad. It's going to turn bad soon. You can tell who is going to have the hot head first in the group. Litsomeone is going to try and make an ambitious move. I thought it was going to be Hinds. He pulled out of it the last second, so we'll see if he continues. His little mistake there may have opened the door for Brian Borg to get on through, but no, he's decided to back out of it. Gonna get a quick replay and see if we can pick up this Blake Delaney's into the pits here. Is this a penalty or is this something else? I don't see anything on my timing screen, so this is a strange one. What is he doing in the pits at this stage? As I've just seen Connor Nixon also lose a bit of ground, but I'm going to try and get a look at what happened to our former race leader, our pole sitter at the start of the race. Talk us through this one, Brady Baldwin.
Well, I'll cut you off there, Jay. There has been a safety car called. So
Okay.
we'll go quickly to Dyson. And looks like he just got in too hot, locked the brakes, and couldn't quite just pull it up. And we've seen it a few times last night. It's very easy to do. It's a very difficult corner to go through, Dillon Corner, and in through hotels. So unfortunately for Dyson, he was back to P22 last time I checked. He's now currently P19. So maybe, well, we've seen Blake Delaney, and I think one other car dived in the pits, and maybe they heard the safety car call and try and top up some fuel. I did estimate earlier we're going to get about 23 laps to a tank of fuel, so maybe Delaney smartly is just topping up the tank. He's got 3 less laps of fuel he'll have to take at the next pit stop, and could bring him back in the field with some fresh tyres.
I can confirm that the safety car has been brought out by Luke Swan, who is stopped on the side of the road. I believe that's the exit of turn 4, potentially. This could be a technical issue for him as opposed to anything else. I can't quite pick up a replay of what's going on with his car, but you can see there is the car stricken on the side of the track. That's the through turn 4, is it not? I believe that's turn 4. There's the safety car just coming up there.
Turn 3 at Hasserota,
Yep.
where Luke Swan's parked, and I just had a look back, and he was in the battle pack there, and he just pulled off to the side of the road. So more than likely, like you said, Jay, a technical issue or a hardware issue, unfortunately for Luke Swan, parked in a bit of a dangerous spot. So right call to bring the safety car out.
See, while we're under this safety car, a couple more replays of what happened at the start of the race, because there has been a little bit of action going on out on track. We'll see what we can pick up. We'll try our best anyway. There was a lot going on at the start of the race. Let's see if this works. Sorry, apologies for the fumbling tonight. I wasn't expecting to be in the commentary booth tonight, so I think we're doing all right, aren't we?
I think we are. A newbie and a non-usual commentator. I think we're doing all right.
I can't say I'm not a usual commentator. Commentated for years. I just don't like doing it much these days. Much better suited to watching. But back in the field through turn 1, turn 2, you can see that 31 and the 5. That's Andy Barber 31 of Bruce Tannick there. Look at the door-to-door contact at the start. I don't think there's too much in that. I don't think race control will look back at the one, but just a little bit messy between those guys. A little bit of spatial awareness potentially.
Yeah, certainly. It wasn't really much in that at all. Just a bit of hard race and turn one, very, very tight corner. So really just a hard racing deal. Unfortunately, Bruce Tannick sort of got the worst of that situation. He's back down in 34th now after starting 19th. So unfortunate for Tannick in the 31, but I'm sure he'll push on through. He qualified pretty well, so it looks like he's got some speed he can use up to get back to the front.
100%. Of course, we will see him back at the front relatively soon. We come across the line to finish the 4th lap of this race. Big hello and welcome to everyone who's joining us for the first time here on SimSpeed TV. This is the DSL Welding Services V8 SuperCup, live on SimSpeed from Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. If you don't know the track, you probably know the YouTube video that did go viral and seems to go viral all the time, where John Cleland was commentating a race and said the person who designed this first corner needs to be taken in a dark room and beaten. I'm sure you've watched that video or seen that video before. This is the track. If you didn't know, this is the track where that incident happened, where that horrendous Turn 1 accident in the World Touring Car Championship happened around about 20 years ago now.
Yeah, I'm certainly glad we're not racing on that layout tonight. We're running on the Grand Prix layout, which is a little bit better Turn 1 design.
Only just.
I should say. Just a little bit better. It's not too great, but certainly a lot better than the other layout.
100% is better. I'm not going to say it's a lot better, but it is better. It's a pretty decent first turn now. We've seen lots of errors throughout. We're getting word that the safety car will pull away at the end of this lap, so fingers crossed we will see the safety car pull away in just a moment. How's that for right on cue?
Perfect timing as always, Jay. And Blake Delaney, we did spot in the pits under that first safety car, and he's slowly catching up the field. So watch out for Delaney. He'll have a fresh set of tyres. He'll be amongst the Supersport pack as well, and he's been a top 5 contender every race this season. So watch out for him. But it's going to be all Dylan O'Shea leading the field off. Safety car has pulled away. We can confirm it is in the lane. So now the race is in control of the number 19 simrigs.com DPR machine. Our round 1 winner, Dylan O'Shea. He's now coming through the Bauer curve, slowing the pace up, 70 kilometers an hour at the moment, Dylan O'Shea. Look for him to accelerate coming into the final corner. Blake Wallboys right on his tail, Thomas Freeman as well, as he looks to pick up the pace, and we're green flag racing once again.
We are back underway. And a very, very good launch there from O'Shea. A great run into turn 1. Look at the lead he's already picked up. Couple of car lengths, just enough room at this track to make sure you feel a little bit more comfortable. And as we said before, Nitschke starting to hold up this pack, and already you can see that the pack has formed straight behind him to try and get through.
You can already see that Freeman's pulled just a little bit of a gap already in the 066 machine. So just before that safety car is in, huge pressure being applied to Nitschke from Varndell, from Hinsborg, and looks like straight away off the restart it's going to happen again. So the 066 will have to keep an eye on the mirrors just a little bit as Varndell closes right in onto the rear bumper of Nitschke into turn number 7. Couldn't really get anything done there through McDonald's. He really has to try and stay on his tail because he might get something done into turn number 11 at the shell curve.
Yep, turn 11 is a potential passing opportunity. The only issue is it does leave you vulnerable if someone can hold it on the outside. I don't think at this stage they're looking to get moves done, but 13 and 14, the two right-handers, they are definitely huge passing opportunities. The only corners on the circuit that both flow the same direction. We see lots of left, right, left, right, left, right here. But this is the only section where you do double right-handers, which does leave a big opportunity for a pass. If you can nail that turn 11 and 12, they are really difficult to get right.
Yeah, certainly. As I said, it reminds me of a Winton double right-hander to end the lap. So
yep.
I think I might be pretty close there. So looks like Brendan Nitschke doing a good job at the moment. Varndell again closes in under brakes for the number 4 machine. Looks like he's got a little bit of better braking performance than Nitschke as we go to the 033 on screen.
That's the 083 Will Westberg. He's just been passed by Shane Ewan. Jones, who's going to pull it up. Just. Nice move.
Sorry, Will Jesper got your number wrong. Great moves there. Shane Downs really just got pulled up just in time. Big brake lock, but ended up getting the job done. A little bit of respect there as well from Jesper, giving him the room. And the incident between number 31 and number 5 at turn 1, lap 1, which we did spot under safety car, has been deemed netcode and a racing incident. No further action.
Yeah, I didn't think there'd been any further action with that. I knew that race control would have a look at it, but no need for them to get involved in that one. This is a good little battle here between Teo Sorono and Connor Nixon, but it looks like it may have settled with Sorono getting through after the safety car restart. That battle is sorted, but the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, you can see just in the background there, Jamie Dyke has closed onto this group now too. He's sticking with them at the restart. He wasn't with them before the safety car, but now is well and truly in this group, in this fight. It's going to be an interesting little battle pack here.
Yeah, certainly you can see the gap from Nishka to Thomas Freeman on the timing stands. It's 2.6 seconds between 3rd and 4th, so Nishka unfortunately really holding up this pack that goes right down the field to even Matt Stewart in P11, so 4th to 11th in a big train at the moment, and unfortunately at this racetrack it is very difficult to overtake and get the job done and commit to a corner, but I think Vandel really has to pull the trigger soon, otherwise he's just going to be held up and it's going to ruin his race and potential podium chances.
And as we said before, there's not a huge pit window here either. We're looking around lap 18 or 19. So 18 or 19 laps, you get to a tank. I mean, they're going to extend that with the safety car. But that doesn't give you a big opportunity to undercut the car in front of you. So you really do have to make moves out on track at this this circuit. Even if he sits behind Nitschke and saves fuel, he's not going to get that time back to those guys ahead that he's losing right now.
No, certainly we did see last night. I'll refer to the V8 Vets series last night again. There wasn't really much that strategy did to alter the positions in the end. It was pretty much everything done was on track. So fortunately for Sebastian Vandel, he's going to get the skates on and try and get past Niska very soon. Otherwise, like I said, he's just going to fall back and back to Freeman and co in front.
Some tech issues with the timing tower. It'll fix itself in a moment. Apologies for that. O'Shea leads another lap to finish 7. We are, just over 1/7 of the way through this race. My math isn't working tonight, my maths brain. Is that a 7th? No, that's not a 7th. Let's just carry on.
We're nearly a quarter of the way through, we'll say that, but looks like Nishka pulls away just a little bit and Hinds down the inside. Big move into turn number 3. Big locker from Thomas Hinds, and they'll allow Borg to go in the outside. Very difficult pass to do on the outside of turn number 3. Borg still hassling the back of Thomas Hinds. Won't get it done. He might have a look into the unnamed turn number 7, but again, it's a very difficult place to overtake, and Thomas Hinds safe for now as makes another little mistake for the number 62 machine of Thomas Hinds. Looks like he's struggling just a little bit, and he'll have to watch out at turn number 11. Brian Borg might make a move.
Very, very high chance that he will try and make a move here. Hearing that Rick Swan did blow an engine during his issues he had earlier, so that is part of the reason why we did see him pulled off to the side of the circuit. Does explain a lot. Just hearing car 91 receiving a black flag drive through penalty 91. It's Tom Pritchard for incident 23 car. Now that's Troy Mortensen, who was our pole sitter in sports. So Mortensen is now back in 24th position. Pritchard has decided to park the car, unfortunately. So he is done for the night, it appears, with that penalty. Usually that doesn't sit too well with race control when you don't even serve the penalty and you just park your car and end your night. Race control don't look too kindly upon that. It's almost like they dislike that more than just carrying on and racing and not having incidents in the first place. That's obviously what they most prefer, but secondly, they prefer you to serve your incident and carry on.
Yeah, certainly, Jam. We just seen Dyson there make another move down the inside with the number 98 machine of 8 and 4. They'll put Dyson up to position number 13. So we've seen him back to 22nd, like we see on screen. The Simric.com DPR machine, a safety car probably helped him bunch the field back up, and he's really on the move. His lap times to the guys in front is over a second quicker. So expect Dyson to make his way probably to the back of the top 10. Probably once you get to Tallyantage Whiting and Jamie Dyke in 10th, 9th and 8th. It's certainly going to make it a little bit harder for him to get through, but at the moment he's showing some really good pace, and maybe just a little bit of strategy might go his way and he might be back in the top 5 and try and salvage some good points.
Well, another safety car will bring him right back into the fight, won't it? I mean, won't take much for him to close that gap back down if a safety car does come out. This is your leader in Super Sport, Jack Anderson, currently sitting 22nd overall, but he's gained 10 spots out on track. You can see just behind him, Ty Delaney. No surprise that he's up in the top couple in the Sportsman Championship. He's been there all season long. But I'll tell you what, this is a great run he's got. He might be able to get a move done here.
Yeah, Todd Delaney's been really impressive. I haven't seen him around in the V8 scene until this series, so he's really been impressive, and he's putting some really good races together, getting more consistent and finding more speed, and now he's battling for the lead in the Super Sport category. So credit to the 07 Fishy Motorsport machine. Obviously getting some help from relative Blake Delaney as well, so, and a really good team there at Fishy. So he's certainly got some good guys around him to help him, and you can see his progress every week has improved massively.
100%. It's been one to watch the whole way through this season, and will be throughout this Super Sport campaign. Tesserona now the next potential victim for the Andrew Dyson overtake, and we might see one at turn 11 here. Will we see our first real aggressive move at 11, or will he hold out to 13? I think he's going to try. He's going to try and get onto the group ahead that is led by Brent Nitschke just up the road. I'll tell you what, that's a nice move. He gets it done. Forces Teo Serrano a little bit wide. Forces Serrano to surrender the corner. Andrew Dyson is only 1.2 seconds off that big pack of cars that we've been talking about all race long, as Brent Nitschke might have lost the spot here. He has. He's made a little error out of the final corner. Is he going to lose two? Forces Inns onto the grass.
Yeah, big moment there for Thomas Inns of the 62. Nitschke fighting hard. He will remain onto P5, but Vandel gets through. Will that break the gap? Will that allow more guys to get through past Nitschke? And like you just touched on, Jay, Andrew Dyson, his flies will be on the back of this pack very shortly, as Hinds has another look down the inside. Can't quite get it done this time by, but Dyson is coming, and if he gets on the back of this pack, he can make easy work of these guys, and he'll be right in this fight very shortly, as we have one car wide at turn number 1, Aiden Ford in the Platinum Race Machine. We touched on he was battling with Dyson just a lap or two ago, and unfortunately he's made a little bit of an error there.
Harry Dodds is about to lose a spot here to Tim Mulford as well, and also Jake Jackson, the W16 car. He's lost a few positions on this lap as well, so we've gone from having a relative couple of quiet laps, absolute chaos and bedlam going on, but let's see how this overtake happened. Was there anything more to this? Was it just a clean overtake? Was there a mistake? Well, this looks like it might just be a nice move, and it is. Very well done from Seb Vandel.
Yeah, Vandel did a really good job there, getting the cut in inside and use up Nish. He's on the grass. Massive effort from Thomas Inns. Right side tires in the grass. That would have been a bit of a handful, but looks like Vandel just used up Nitschke just a little bit and made sure he got the move done, and very impressive overtake for the number 4 machine as he goes into P number 4.
P4 for car 4. And the 066 now drops back into 5th. Thomas Hinds in 6th position. He'll be wanting to move his way forward, because we know how good a driver Hinds is. He races everything and has been very competitive in almost everything he drives, but he won't be happy with where he's sitting at the moment.
Yeah, certainly Hinds. I've raced against him a few times. He is a very competitive character on the iRacing service, and he's done very well. His first night in this series, started 60th, currently 6th at the moment. He's doing a good job, but I will touch on, Jay, we'll go to the lead pack just quickly. The top 3, last time by, separated by just 0.6 of a second. O'Shea, Warboys and Freeman have streaked away from the rest of the field, and these guys are really, really close to each other. And are they just waiting it out till the pit window opens and see who plays the right strategy? Every
possibility that that's what's going on. Whether that's the case, I don't know, but there is every chance that the two groups here, I mean, look at how far away these guys are from that group 1 as well. It's a pretty big margin that's going on now. Our 2 lead groups. Hey, what's that? 6 seconds between them, so The only one that's really in no man's land in this group now is Van Dalen. May be able to pick it up. That's if we can. Dyson getting through, and oh, Teo Sorono, where's he come from?
Toronto, big move. We just seen Dyson pull the overtake on Matt Stewart, then locked a break and ran wide, and Sorono, big moment on the grass there. Wonder what has happened to Sorono, and Dyson around the outside at triple and will make the move into turn number 7. A very impressive move there from Andrew Dyson around the outside of turn 4 and 5 into 6. Got the job done into 7. They'll put him into position number 11. And certainly he'll want to get onto the back of Taliantich and Whiting very quickly and try and get with this pack from 4th on back.
That overtake took all the way from turn 1 all the way up to where we just finished that overtake. So he's done an absolute stellar job getting it done. It's not an easy track to overtake on. We have commented on that already. Seeing more issues for Aiden Ford as well. That's turn 7. Still learning this track a little bit. So it might be turn 10, is it?
It does certainly look like turn 7. Looks like turn 7, Jay. Bit of a moment there for Aiden Ford. We might be able to pick that up on the replay. I'm trying to get it back on my screen, but it's not playing ball for me at the moment. Looks like just a big mistake there. He was running quite well beforehand. Unfortunately, Aiden Ford in the 98 machine only dropped down the field.
Thomas Freeman from 3rd position's gone off the circuit at turn 3. He's lost 1-2 spots and may lose more. Through goes Nitschke and Van Dalen. Will Borg get through as well? I think he will. No, he won't be able to get through. Will Brian Borg, who has got past Thomas Hinz while we were watching all the other commotion that was going on, because there was a lot going on all at once there. So Borg now into 6th, Hinz back to 7th, and Thomas Freeman, what a fall from grace. He was fighting at the back of the league group, just sitting there watching them, and all of a sudden he's now lost 2 spots and struggling to maintain ground.
Yeah, unfortunately, Thomas Freeman, locked a break going to turn number 3 at Hasserota and ran wide off the road. And unfortunately, that cost him 2 positions, and he's lost all that ground to that lead pack. We've seen him just a lap ago, right on with Blake Warboys and Dylan O'Shea, and now he's back to P number 5, Vandal, onto the podium position. Nishka up to 4th. Be interesting to see how this battle pack forms again now as we go to the VRS replay. We'll have a look at the number 1 machine of Thomas Hinz, the Fisher Motorsport machine, and he just got in too hot, ran wide, and unfortunately for him, he kept it out of the barrier, so he done a good job there, but unfortunately he's lost a lot of ground to those leaders, and probably without a safety car, it's going to be very hard for him to get back in that top 2 contention. Yep,
it's going to be very, very difficult for sure for him to get back into this fight, but we also thought it was going to be very difficult for Andrew Dyson to get anywhere near the front of the field, and have a look at where he's got himself back to. So he's back into 11th, only 11 seconds off the pace, and a safety car brings him right back into this one. So O'Shea, Warboys, they've even split apart a little bit over the last lap or 2 as well. Look, now the gap between them, we saw them, how close they were. Wondering whether O'Shea was just slowing up a little bit, saving a bit of fuel. There's lots of strategy games going on. We're not far off that pit window being open. And if you can stretch it out 1 extra lap, that's a huge advantage for you at the pit stop.
Yeah, certainly. We predict the window will open on lap number 18. We predict these guys get about 23 laps to a full tank. So about lap 18, the pit window will open. Obviously, with the safety car, they can be stretched out just a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what drivers come in when the pit window opens and who will stretch it out as we go to Brian Borg quickly. And we'll go back down to Jake Jackson, the 1.9 machine. Started 21st, currently 21st. A beautiful looking number 116 machine. He's having a really good race, Jake Jackson. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've seen him all season, sorry.
I'm going to say he is having a good race. I've got my Jacks mixed up. Jack Mickelson is the driver that's received the penalty. But I think they may have issued it to the wrong car because it says 116. Oh no, 26 for incident with 116. Let me reread that before I actually comment. I'll just shut up and let the race control handle it. They've got it right. Drive-through penalties for the 26 for contact with that 116 we just saw.
Yeah, it looks
this
like
is why I don't commentate, mate.
That's all right. I don't mind you coming in tonight, Jay. We go back to Nishka and Thomas Freeman battling for P number 4. We've seen Nishka holding up the field just a little bit before in the couple laps ago, and looks like once again Freeman, Brian Borg and Thomas Hins are all over the back of him. We've seen Vandal already stretch that gap to Brendan Nishka, so Thomas Freeman, we've seen him, he's running up the front within a second of the leader, so look for that number 1 machine to try and put a move on Nishka soon. He might even try and undercut the 066 to try and get some track position after the pit stops.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit of craziness with pit stops and strategy and things like that. See someone try and do something a little bit different from everyone else. Is that person this car on screen? End of 17 laps. Still 24 to go. We're predicting 23 to a tank. This is bold, but if it works, it's huge. This could bring Andrew Dyson either back into the race or cost him a big chunk of points. It's one or the other at this point. There's no in between here. This is going to be absolute God mode, or what did I do that for?
We've certainly seen someone last night pit 3 or 4 laps earlier than everyone else in the field, and they made up a whole heap of ground. So maybe the call is to pit as early as possible. Dyson will be very, very tight on fuel at the end, but he's certainly probably one of the guys that can make it happen. As he drops down off the jacks, he will be coming back out, hopefully in some clean air, because some lap traffic here, or racing against the back markers will very much hinder his progress, but looks like he will come out with a very difficult pit exit as he comes out side by side with the 73. This could hinder Dyson, the 41 machine. He needs to get this move done into Hasserota here, and the 73 will let him go. Shane Nowens knows Dyson isn't in these battle pack as we go to Talliansage and Michael Whiting battling here for P number 8 by the looks of it. Talliansage down the inside of the bow curve, and Michael Whiting thinks better of it. He'll go into the pits.
Yep, decided no, I don't want to be a part of that. Rick Kuznetsov, former teammate of these guys as well, so a little bit of love between these guys. Something's happened to Brendan Nitschke here too. Is he off the circuit? Oh, how close was that?
Massive moment, and looks like he has had contact with the number 1 machine of Thomas Freeman into turn number 1. We will have to get a VRS replay on that. Looks like a big moment, big lockup from Thomas Freeman. Gets into the side of Nishka in a huge moment. Fortunately, Nishka not too much damage, but he's lost about 6-7 positions there as we go to the VRS replay. See the number 1 machine of Freeman, locks it up, bang, into the side of the 066, and unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Thomas Freeman will be getting a penalty for that. Just a small mistake, but he's punted the 066 off the road, and unfortunately for Nishka, he's going to be back in the field now. That's
very unfortunate for him. He was doing very well, but going to have to work extra hard now to gain those spots back that he has lost. Tell you who's lucky to get away with it. We're going to get a second look here, because Brian Borg, have a look at the avoidance here from Borgie. He should have ended up in the fence here. If I'm being perfectly honest, there's no way he should have made it through this. Watch the car move across. Little bit of contact, and somehow kept the car on the road.
That's certainly all the experience Brian Borg has in these V8 supercars. Very good avoidance there of the incident, got through it. I will note, Jay, we will go to Andrew Dyson quickly. He has come in front quite considerably further than Thomas Hins, who was P5 and 6 on track. Dyson, when he pitted, was P11, so that 1 lap undercut for Dyson, a bit of clear track, has paid off massively for him. He's way in front of Hins. Michael Whiting's way down the road, so Matt Stewart's even jumped Michael Whiting, so I think Dyson might have played a really good strategy here. Certainly we'll have to see if some of the other leaders come into the pits, but Dyson has played a very good strategy call so far. It might just pay off for him.
Very, very good chance he will. The only issue he may have is, has he got enough fuel in the tank? He'll really have to save at the end, but an extra 2 seconds of fuel in the stop for Hins over Dyson, an extra 2 seconds in the lane, of course, relative to that. Brendan Nitschke, same pit stop time as Hins. Of course, he was facing the wrong way, so he's dropped a little bit further down. Leader of the cars that has pitted is David Coleman, but we did see him in the pits under that safety car. And we've also seen Ty Delaney break away in the Super Sport category after the incident where we heard race control were involved with Jack Anderson and Jack Mickelson. That incident resulted in Anderson losing the lead. as race control, confirming what is no surprise to anyone. This car is about to get a drive-through penalty. Car number 1, Thomas Freeman. Incident with 066, Brendan Nitschke.
Now for a massive mistake there for Thomas Freeman, and unfortunately we knew it was coming for the number 1 machine. Just big mistake there as we go back to Rick Koneskov, back battling with his old teammate, like I said, Jay Mokotali. These guys certainly have not pitted yet. 18 seconds roughly off the lead, so it'll be interesting to see when the leaders come into the lane. O'Shea, Warboys, Vundell, they're going a lot longer than Andrew Dyson. We touched on Dyson will be very tight on field, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm very excited to see where how this all plays out.
Harry Dodds is in the pits. Will Jesberg is in the pit, so the pit lane is starting to light up. No surprises. We've just crossed over the halfway point in this race. This is round number 4 of the DSL Welding Services V8 SuperCup here on SimSpeed TV, part of the Global iRacing League's series. Safety car deployed. Now, what is that for? That is for that car that is stricken at the exit of turn 10. Turn 7, is it? Turn 7. Aiden Schultz facing the wrong way, but what has brought this out? What has happened for that car to bring out the safety car? Everyone is diving into the pits, no surprise. We're going to replay in just a moment because we need to see what is going to happen at the front of the field. Will Dyson jump these guys with this safety car? He's going to push on as hard as he can and hope that these guys ahead do not hold him up. Guess what? He's getting held up by traffic here who don't want to go flat out.
Yeah, this is certainly killing Dyson at the moment. These cars are not even doing probably 3/4 speed at the moment, so Dyson will be livid under the virtual helmet. And Troy Mortensen, the leader of this 4-way pack, is, yeah, like I said, he's not going full pace, and this is ruining Dyson's race. Mortensen doesn't even come into the pit, so very interesting strategy there for Mortensen. We will see Dylan O'Shea. He's already coming out of the pit, so he's going to have a massive advantage over Andrew Dyson. Warboys will still jump Dyson. Vundell is going to be pretty tight, I think, between Borg and Dyson, but Dyson can't even overtake Mortensen, so this is absolutely killing his race. He will jump by the looks, he'll get in front of Sebastian Vundell, so effectively that should put Andrew Dyson back to P number 3. This safety car effectively eliminates his fuel worries, so I think Dyson, after the start back to P22, he has a very good chance to win this race.
100%. Now, the incidents for the 52 car, we're not going to show them because they're all self-inflicted incidents, and I'm sure race control will be having a little look at what is going on out on track as we talk about it after they finish their duties with the safety car. Thomas Freeman has come into the pits and served his pit stop. The issue he's got, he still has to serve a black flag, so he's back to 14th position. He's got to come back in again and drive through the lane. My thinking is he will follow the safety car in and do it straight away because he will lose the most time with the field bunched up.
We will have to try and confirm if Freeman has served a penalty because he
he hasn't. He's still got the black flag.
He still has. Okay, so he entered P number 3 in the pits, and now he's down to 14th. So my thinking was he might have had a stop and go penalty.
He has taken a lot of fuel at his pit stops. He's taken the most fuel out of almost everyone in the field. 25-second stop, 22 seconds for Warboys, 20.5 for O'Shea, 18.5 for Dyson. But yeah, I can see no one else around that 25-second bracket for the car of Thomas Freeman, but I can see he still has that black flag, so still more to go here. We're going to be another lap before we go green because Troy Mortensen will likely get a wave around. We are still under safety car conditions. I just realized the yellow flag wasn't showing for some reason. Okay, fixed it. This is why I usually sit and watch and just listen rather than talk.
Like you touched on, Jay, I think after their safety car, Andrew Dyson, he's going to be on the hammer. We should see Mortensen get waved around, and we do see Thomas Freeman now coming through the lane. So
this can't be to serve his penalty, though.
I was thinking that too. He wouldn't be able to serve his penalty under safety car. That's a pretty standard rule across
the
leagues.
The issue is that we are under manual safety car as opposed to an iRacing issued safety car, so he may be forced to serve that penalty to ensure that he doesn't get a a disqualification from iRacing. He did come out at lap 19. Been 3 laps since he had his penalty, so yeah, he's just going to wait at the end of pit lane, rejoin at the back of the field, then wait for race control to decide what they want to do.
Yeah, I think with the circumstances, I think that's probably the most fair punishment. Send him to the back of the field where he would have been. Unfortunately for him, in this instance, he will get to try and pass some cars again. Instead of taking his penalty under green flag conditions, he would have lost a lot more ground. So be interested to see how race control decide what to do with that, whether it just stays as it is or there's something further. But maybe for Thomas Freeman, he gets a little bit lucky, but I think there will be something further to happen to that.
I think in the circumstance, he'll probably get maybe a time penalty post-race later on. But yeah, he had no choice. He had to come in, or otherwise he was going to get a disqualification. So I'm sure race control will look at that later on and go, yeah, actually, probably a good idea you come in because we couldn't clear your DQ and let you back out and race. The only other option they had was to clear the penalty and reissue it. But race control are a little bit preoccupied at the moment, just making sure the field is set in the correct order and ready to go. We are not far away from getting a restart. Only 18 laps of racing left when we go green. Restart lap 24 or 41. Now my math says that we're still some sort of amount past halfway.
we are past halfway.
That's all I'm going to do tonight. My maths isn't going to get any better than that. Here comes the wave around from Mortensen. So we may go green this time. I think we may get one more lap. Excuse me, one more lap under yellow. No, we're going to go green this time. This safety car has helped Andrew Dyson an unbelievable amount, because if he had any fuel concerns and had to save fuel, that's gone. He doesn't need to anymore. He's right.
Yeah, certainly. We even seen last week at Snetterton, he pitted early on that first safety car last weekend. No one else did. He got a late safety car that brought him back in. He was able to fight Thomas Freeman for the win. And once again, Andrew Dyson, he must have a horseshoe or something on his sim rig, because he's having a lot of luck with these safety cars. And I would not have thought he'd come from position number 22 back into a podium contention. And he certainly has the pace to win this thing.
100% does. There is every chance that we could see him come through and win this race. Get ready to restart. And away goes Dyson. And have a look at the jump that he's already pulled on everyone. He's broken away a huge amount.
Yeah, certainly a fantastic restart there for Dylan O'Shea. A little bit of a mistake from Dyson on the exit of the last corner. Lost him about 2 car lengths to Blake Warboys, but looks like everyone getting through turn 1 and 2 cleanly so far. But Dylan O'Shea done all he needed to do. Got a good jump away, as we said, about 18 laps to go. So Dylan O'Shea in the box here at the moment. We'll have to see. Everyone is on cold tyres. Bit of a bigger fuel load at the moment. A little bit of variance in fuel load, but not by too much to affect the speed and handling of the race cars. And Dylan O'Shea doing a really good job at the moment, holding off Warboys and Dyson.
Thomas Hins, Brian Borg go at it again as well. As a tiny little mistake there from Hinsey. He, of course, is behind where he was with Brian Borg behind him a few moments ago. They've both lost out a little bit of ground as well from the restart. You can see in the background there, Rick Kuznetsov trying to make moves and does get past Mike Taliancic. Tally decides, nah, you can go. The driver to watch in this phase of the race for me is this driver here, the 04, Matt Stewart. He's taken the least fuel out of everyone in this group. So watch and see if he still needs to save a dash of fuel to make it home. Currently in 11th, he's about to lose a spot to Michael Whiting in the Fishy car, and Brendan Hitchkin not far behind the Juice Frog Leap car as well. If he does have enough in the tank, literally, to hold on.
Yeah, good move there. Off the exit last corner, set him up into Dawn corner. Michael Whiting there will get into position number 11, but shout out to Rick Koneskov. We've seen him at Silverstone, we touched on earlier. Came from the rear of the field into a top 5 position. Tonight, he got from 37th to 8th.
A bit of a technical issue there for Andrew Dyson, which is why I went, was a bit unsure whether he was going to return, but he's back. Never good to see a car disappear. The technical issue. Thankfully, Dyson, who deserves a great result, made one error all night. Sadly, it was from the first position at the second corner of the race. And other than that, he's driven a flawless race and just made his way forward, hasn't he? Oh, this could be another safety car, is it? 17. Matthew Shanahan, no, he continues on. He's a bit worried that he'd done some damage to the car and had to stop, but he's continuing on. But yeah, Dyson, other than that one error, I mean, it's a huge error, but other than that one tiny error, he's had a pretty faultless night and an almost perfect run.
Yeah, certainly Dyson has, again, probably been the fastest car on track, and unfortunately for him, had a lot of traffic to deal with at the start of the race, and fortunately for him, that second safety car has helped brought him right back up, but not really making any inroads into Blake Warboys just yet. We still have a long way to go, about 16 laps remaining, as we see Brian Borg run a little bit wide there, the 017. That might open the door for Thomas Hins in the 62. This is the battle for position number 5. Sebastian Vandal, a very consistent result once again. He's been around that top 5 all season. He's doing a very good job tonight, and we're on board with Thomas Hins in the number 62 machine, looking at the back of the Racecraft PRT number 017 of Brian Borg through the triple and into the unnamed turn number 7. Borg runs a little wide there, might open the door for Hinsey. Won't get anything done there at turn 7.
No, not quite able to get it done, but very close and ready to pounce. And this is the first time that we've seen Vandal since the restart get a little bit of ground behind him, a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room. Very, very interesting battles going on. Still leading the sportsman grouping, our classes in this series. Ty Delaney, from what I can see, is still leading in the 07 car. Josh Schultz just sacrifices a couple of positions there, gives Blake Delaney and Tim Mulford a spot. Thomas Hins, just seeing, he's just lost another spot. Rick Kuznetsov, he's flying at the moment.
Definitely a very impressive drive again from the Triple Eight machine. Up to P number 6, and a little mistake there for Hins. Open the door up, and Rick's one of those fast guys, and he won't lay down. I'm having a quick look, and Hinsey actually just let him by on the front straight.
Yeah.
Little mistake off the final corner for Hins. Very, very marginal when he didn't really want to hold him up and get in his way by the looks of it. So very respective driving from Thomas Hins, and maybe realised the slightly fast car behind him and let him go and fight another day.
Yep, I think that was exactly the case of what happened there. You can see here, this little group here is splintered at the front. Dylan O'Shea is broken away, but Blake Warboys and Andrew Dyson are ready and able to continue their fight. Dyson will be wanting through because he'll want to win the race, but if anyone else was to win the race, it's the car that he would be okay with in P1 at the moment. He doesn't want O'Shea to make a mistake and allow Warboys through. So Dyson will be applying as much pressure as possible to Warboys to ensure he's not able to close that gap back down.
Yeah, certainly it looks like O'Shea just has a little bit of a pace advantage at the moment over the number 63 of Blake Warboys, and Dyson has a little bit of pace to burn as well. That last time by Dyson 2/10 quicker than Blake Warboys. Pretty much the same pace between the two SimRigs.com DPR machines. Dyson has a little look down into Doohan corner. Can't get anything done there. Very difficult place to overtake turn number 1. He'll try and set him up, I think, maybe into triple. He's had a few lunges down into the 4 to 6 region tonight, so watch out for Dyson. He'll try and get on the back of him, maybe coming into turn 7 as well, and just can't quite get enough traction on the exit to apply pressure into the entry of the next corner.
One thing that Dyson has against him, of course, is older tyres. Hitting first, safety car, great timing for him in one aspect. It came out and bunched the field up and allowed him to use that advantage that he had in track position to close back down. But disadvantage, his new tyres were gone and the others were able to pit and use their fresh tyres at the restart. So a couple more laps and they'll even themselves back out, and they'll be about even in regards to tyre wear. But at the moment, Dyson is definitely feeling the effects of those slightly second-hand tyres. 4 laps older. I was going to say 4 years older. 4 lap older tyres. That wouldn't be very good to drive 4-year-older tyres around a track in a V8 touring car.
No, I certainly wouldn't recommend it. And shout out to Dyson, because even on older tyres, he's staying right with Blake Warboys, and Blake Warboys has been around the scene for a couple of years now, and he's certainly one of the front runners in these V8 touring cars. He certainly has some really good pace. So for Dyson to be sticking right on him, and he's still challenging him, he's right under the rear wing. Just looks like Blake Woodward's with those slightly fresher tyres, slightly better drive traction on the exit of the corner. That's where he's trying to pull away. That's where he's making his speed.
100%. If there's any ground change between these guys, next little bit. A little bit of gaining there. You can see that Warboys had to have a couple of goes on the brake to try and balance the car. He couldn't quite get the car balanced coming through 6 and the approach into 7 there, but done a good job through one of the coolest parts of the track. Use all the curb, use as much as you can through 9, through 10 at McDonald's. Very, very cool section. This run here, up in this, is it a chicane? Is it an S-bend? I don't know. It's a bit different, but it is very fun. This section of track is really cool. And to the best at overtaking spot, setting yourself up through 13. You're going to move down at 14. Not quite close enough yet, but I tell you what, Andrew Dyson may be close enough in a little moment. I'll tell you what, he's close enough now because that's a mistake. And that is going to be moved on.
Yeah,
or
Dyson
is it?
did not. Dyson and Woolworths will go side by side. The disadvantage for Dyson, turn 1, he's going to be the outside, but he will remain on the inside for turn number 2 into Hotel. If he stays committed around the outside, Dyson and Warboys side by side for position number 2 through Hotel. Dyson will get the move done on the exit. He'll have to defend here into Hasarota, turn number 3, but he got the move done very easily. In fact, Andrew Dyson, a fantastic move into position number 2.
Very, very beautiful job from Dyson to get that move finished. And he set that up a long way before, didn't he? He applied pressure from about this point on the lap. You saw that slight little error. The tap on the brakes through 6 and then into this corner at 7. You could see it was coming. It wasn't a move that was set up a couple of corners before. It was set up half a lap, 3/4 of a lap earlier. He's done a great job and shown how you can make a move, how you need to set up a move properly from a long way before. Incident between car 31 and 1, racing incident. We have missed that. So that's 31 of Bruce Tannick and the 1 of Thomas Freeman, who has been feeling the wrath of race control tonight already. He will be happy to know that he's not getting another drive-through because he's already had to serve 1. We haven't heard if there's any further action to happen from his penalty serving under the safety car, which was forced. Yeah, we do want everyone to understand that he did have no choice but to serve that penalty just based on the way the system operates. It wasn't that he did it to breach any rules, and did make sure that he rejoined at the rear of the field. A positive, but yeah, a little bit of a messy situation that race control does have to deal with occasionally. This is Kuznetsov looking up the inside of his old team boss, Brian Borg. Through he goes. So Kuznetsov up in the 5th. He's driven a very, very nice race.
Yeah, certainly. Ryan Borg didn't make it too difficult for Kuznetsov there. Got right down the inside, got the move done, and Borg runs a little wide there. Got right on the back bumper of Kuznetsov, and certainly loses a few car lengths there to the back of the Triple A. But like you said, Jay, Rick Kuznetsov again from the back of the field into a top 5. So fantastic drive from Rick.
And laps to go when they cross the line. Shea leads by 3.5 seconds. And he died. Gives up the spot to car of Taliancic as Harry Dodds, who's run off the circuit. Turn 10. He's like losing heaps of spots here. Is he something else going on here?
I'll say it was a massive moment through McDonald's for Harry Dodds, a huge moment. We might have to grab that on the VRS replay because he was coming through the 8 to 10 region through McDonald's, and he had a huge moment on the curbs, and he's lost a huge amount of spots. He was position number 14 before that, Harry Dodds. A really impressive effort. He is now down the field back into P number 22. So 8 spots lost, unfortunately, for Harry Dodds.
Up on the VRS replay. A little bit of help. Potentially, I don't think there was a plate line and the white Fisher cars behind, and that's a little bit too much curve, a little bit too much curve, bounce it over onto the grass, keep it out of the fence, just. But as you said, the big thing they're losing all momentum means that he's lost all of that ground and lost 8 positions from it. But the positive you can take away is he didn't hit the wall. So the fact he didn't hit the wall means that he can race on. Try and gain a few of those spots back. He's tucked back in now behind Jack Nicholson, who has had a shocker of a night as well. He's in P21. Ty Delaney still leads the sportsman category in P20. Chris Tannock, unfortunately, has had to retire from the race for some reason as well. So, unfortunate to see for Tannock. Lots of guys still in battles at the moment. I mean, O'Shea, one of the few that's not in a 2-car or 3-car fight at the moment, isn't he? He's all by himself, but almost everyone else in the field is in a battle.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we've seen this last night. Just battle packs galore throughout the field, and looks like Ty Day and try and get the move done here.
I think he's just lost that spot.
He's lost the spot actually to Jack Mickelson. So back to P21. Fortunately for Ty Delaney, that is not within his class. Mickelson is in the Super Pro category. So, and it looks like Dodds will try and maybe get down the inside as well. Try and make some spots for Delaney, but he has a little bit of a gap back to Jack Anderson, who is P2 in class. So got a little bit of a gap. Ty Delaney, he doesn't really have to race these guys ahead. He has about 3-second advantage back to P2 in class. So Delaney probably wisely should let Dodds by and continue his race, get in behind him and try and hold off for the win.
Yeah, just race his own race essentially, rather than try and fight anything else out there. Jack Anderson, though, the one thing to watch out is Anderson has closed in about 3.5 seconds over the last 6 or 7 laps. So he was down after that incident we saw where Jack Mickelson had to do a drive-through penalty. Anderson was around about 5.5 seconds back, and only 2 seconds back. So you can see there is Delaney in the 07, and just behind him there is Anderson. That's P1, P2 and Sportsman is actually closest, sorry, Super Sport is closer than we've got the battle for the lead in Super Pro, which I think that's happened every week, hasn't it? The battle for the Super Sport category closer than our battle for the overall.
Yeah, we certainly have seen that every week so far. The Super Sport category has been decided even on the last lap as we look. Looks like Christopher Tomlin might have a look down the inside. It will be around the outside into Hotel. And these two are battling for position number 2 in the Super Sport category. Tomlin has had some really good runs in this series, and it will be down the inside for the next corner. Hasarota, will he get the job done? Big braking application down the inside. Will get the job done, and Tomlin will move in position number 2. Interesting to note, Delaney did let Harry Dodds by, so he did lose a little bit of time on that previous lap, but now Tomlin will try, as Anderson has a lock up, he will make a little mistake, but Tomlin can now try and get after Ty Delaney for the win in our Super Sport. I believe Tomlin actually has a round win for Super Sport this season so far.
The only issue he's got is he lost a heap of ground when they were making that overtake. They did fight a little bit too aggressively and lost about a second from the gap that Anderson previously had to Delaney at around about 2 seconds. It's now at 3. So that will play into Delaney's hands in regards to the other battles going on at the front of the field, where they're nowhere near as interesting, action-packed and exciting as this one, as that's a mistake from Tomlin, but not quite close enough is Jack Anderson to capitalise and get that position. If anything, Anderson may have backed up a little bit too much to give Tomlin a chance to fix his error. As in the background, Aiden Ford has a huge moment on the curb. And does he hit the wall? I don't think he did. If he did, he's going to get away with it. It's a disastrous end for him to get out of that fight is on. Anderson's having a big moment now.
It's all teeing off in the last 7 laps of this race. First Aiden Ford and then Jack Anderson. A huge moment for Jack Anderson. He will lose that spot to Tomlin and John Fillingham as well. So he's off the podium now in Supersport. But one thing I will note up the front, Rick Kneskov has passed Sebastian Vandel for P number 4. So Kneskov 37th to 4th, and he's now closing to the back of Blake Warboys. Rick Kneskov could get another podium from the rear of the field.
Look at this, cue the Tokyo Drift music, because this is a huge slide. Hits the curb, bang, up on 2 wheels, car's out of control on the brakes. Cars don't like going that way. Now, I'll tell you what, good avoidance here from Fillingham. Saw the moment happen, got on the brakes a little bit early, made sure that he was able to get to the apex of the corner, knew that Anderson would run wide. There he goes. Very, very nice move from him, but unfortunate for Anderson. It's gone from second to fourth in class in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, certainly a huge moment for Anderson, but also a really good save. Done really well to keep the car mainly under control for at least the situation anyway. So,
maybe not.
Being another slide for Anderson on the exit of the final corner, and Fillingham now is closed right in on Tomlin for second in class as we go back to John Fillingham, right on the back of Christopher Tomlin. This is for P2 in class. Fillingham wasn't really anywhere in the conversation for P number 2 laps ago, but right now it looks like he's got a massive pace advantage compared to Christopher Tomlin.
Definitely does. He's doing a really good job. Pace has come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of laps. Last lap by Ty Delaney was quicker by a few tenths of a second, but Fillingham, of course, was checked up at turn 2. But lap time wise, he's lapping very similar pace to the likes of Jamie Dyke and Teo Sorono, who are in their own little fight. So, great little battle going on back in the pack for Sportsman. Super Sport. Jake Jackson also in a good fight. Oh, no. No, hold on. He's held it.
Huge moment there for
I'll tell you what,
Jake
how's that
Jackson.
for timing?
That was beautiful. On cue, as always, Jay Kennedy getting the shots, and a huge moment. Just jipped the left rear, into the grass, and the 116, a huge moment, a fantastic
He should
save
not
there.
have saved that.
He shouldn't have saved that. That was incredible piece of driving. We will go, to the VRS replay. Jake Jackson take a bounce, jet the left rear off, and wow. Cue again the Tokyo Drift music.
How did he make the apex? Like, he should have been in the wall or something. I know I would have been around facing the wrong way. Now, have a look at this little battle that's come from nothing. We said that Kuznetsov had great pace. Well, he's got that good a pace. He might steal third position.
Yeah, certainly Rick Kuznetsov has had a lot of pace to bear in this race. Like we said before, 37th he started, dead last in the field. He's now battling for a podium. Incredible drive from the Triple Eight machine. We've seen him do this once before in the series, and Blake Warboy's just dropping off the back just a bit of Andrew Dyson. That last lap he was 2 tenths slower than Dyson, but more importantly, Kuznetsov was 6 tenths quicker on that previous lap compared to Warboys, and this time by will be 4 laps to go. I think Kuznetsov has this in the bag if he can get the move done.
Yeah, I agree. The pace he's got just looks too good at the moment. Last few laps, just seems to have saved the tyres a little bit more. Did take 4 seconds less fuel at the pit stop, so that's my only concern. But of course, the safety car may have saved any potential issue there for Kuznetsov. He does look patient too, doesn't he? He's saving the tyres and looking for the right spot to make moves. And we've seen Warboys has cracked a little when he's had a bit of pressure applied from behind throughout this race too.
Yeah, certainly it looks like Kuznetsov just biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity, potentially waiting for a little mistake from Warboys. We've seen Warboys make that small error at turn number 14 before when he had Andrew Dyson behind him. Maybe Kuznetsov has the right play here, sitting right behind him through McDonald's. He might set him up here into shell curve, just like Andrew Dyson did earlier in the race. And Kuznetsov, I think, might get the move done here, right into the corner. Big braking application here from Kuznetsov. Very difficult pass to do. Side by side through shell curve, through Ammon curve. Kuznetsov will stay behind Warboy. Some great driving from both drivers.
Been a huge incident back in the field. So brace yourself for this one, Brady. So you can see here, Troy Mortensen unfortunately has a little bit of a moment here where he just loops it around, hits the wall. Fairly straightforward, fairly common incident. David Coleman arrives on the scene. You know what's happening now, don't you?
I
Coleman comes
unfortunately
around,
do.
car rejoining, bang, contact into the wall, heavy damage for David Coleman. And unfortunately, his night gets worse from that because he has a second incident at the final corner as well. So David Coleman, unfortunately, things are going from bad to worse for him. He wasn't having a great night as it was, but it's just got a lot worse with that incident there.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for the 640 of Coleman, and a little bit untidy there from Troy Mortensen. Pretty disappointing redress. I will say race control will certainly be dealing with that post-race. But battle on screen for position number 8, Dyke Taliancic, Sorono, and Whiting's 5.5 seconds back, so he's not really in the fight. But Dyke and Taliancic felt like they've been really going at it all race long, and two of the veterans in this V8 Supercar series, and Tay Sorono is no slouch either.
Matteo Sorono, one of the young guns, making his way through, is doing a very, very nice job. And as you said too about that incident being reviewed by race control, as you said it, exactly what you said, post-race penalty for car 23.
Yeah, 23, which was Troy Mortensen.
Yeah,
so he will
feel race control's wrath after the race. He'll get a stern talking to and probably a points penalty, which hurts him because he was in contention for Sportsman after a couple of rounds. Oh, I've just seen, just off the side of my screen, I've just seen another incident for David Coleman. So that incident he had earlier has obviously caused huge damage to his car. I'm going to show you this because this is weird. I don't know how to describe it, but that word.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the moment. David Coleman, the 640 machine, going through, looks like turn number 1, and
snapped mid-corner.
That is very interesting. I don't think that's driver error. That just certainly looks like the throttle stuck open or something. And I just had a look. He did enter the pit lane.
He's got a mechanical black flag now, so he's obviously hit the wall during another incident. So he's unfortunately not having the best run. He's probably going to finish the race in the pits, unfortunately.
And we go back to on screen. The Triple Eight of Kuznetsov dropped off Warboys just a little bit after.
Vandal's coming here too.
His attempted move, and like you said, Vandal closing in. But unfortunately for him, there's one lap to go this time by. So Dylan O'Shea will get the white flag. And this is all on for the last spot on the podium. The top two DPR guys, they've checked out, but Ricky Kuznetsov, Blake Warboys are going to go hammer and tong for this final lap. Kuznetsov right to the back bumper of that forward Mustang. The WKMP machine can't get anything done through Dawn Quarter out of Hotel. We go to Massarona at turn number 3. Another prime overtaking opportunity. Can't get anything done there. Kuznetsov will probably look at turn number 7 and then into Shell Curve at turn number 11, but a little bit of a slide there on the exit of the corner will hurt his progress just a little bit.
Yep, a little bit of momentum lost. Also can see that O'Shea has started to slow down a little bit. So you can tell a formation finish happening for the simrigs.com DPR crew. It's the battle for the final podium spot. Oh my, this is on. Who is going to steal third? Kuznetsov looks extremely racy. I'm wondering if he had to check up a little bit and didn't make those moves because he had to save a dash more fuel, and now has got the green light to push, because this lap he's pushing a lot harder than he has in previous ones.
Yeah, certainly couldn't get the move done into a Shell Curve that he tried a couple laps ago, and a lap car has a moment. Shane Nowens in front. Hopefully he gets out of the way and doesn't impede. So the 73 car of Nowens might impede the final spot of the podium. Kuznetsov down the inside. Big move. Contacts made. Kuznetsov, Warboys and Vandal will sweep in to get position number 3. Huge controversy on the final lap here. Dylan O'Shea will take the win. Andrew Dyson second. Kuznetsov will readdress with Blake Warboys, but to no avail. Sebastian Vandal from nowhere. We said one lap ago he was closing in, and out of nowhere he's got position number 3. That last lap was absolutely wild as we go to the 07 of Ty Delaney. A little bit more calmer finish for the 07 machine. He's position number 21 on track, but he will take the victory quite handsomely, 5 seconds in front of P number 2 in class. So congratulations to Ty Delaney. A fantastic drive for him. His first win of the season in Supersport. Fantastic drive.
Yep, absolutely fantastic. I'll tell you what, have a look at this replay here. Vandal saw that something was happening between these guys. Watch the gap that he just gives up. Has a little error. Then he gets out of it. He's like, no, I'm not being a part of this. Backs off at this point here. You can see the two guys ahead. Nah, don't want to be a part of it. Don't want to be a part of it. Hang on, I might be a part of this. Hang on, I'll take the spot. Hang on, I'll steal the podium. How's that? What a finish to the race.
Yeah, certainly a huge moment there on the final lap. The lap car certainly did play a massive part there. Looks like Kuznetsov just got a little bit too keen on the final corner. Most drivers, I would probably say, would do a similar thing, try and get the move done for the podium, but unfortunately couldn't quite get it done. As we go to our race results, presented by DSL Welding Services. Dylan O'Shea wins his second race of the season, another 1-2 for Simbriggs.com DPR. Lean home Andrew Dyson by 2.6 seconds at the end. Sebastian Vandal, a surprise P3 finisher after all that chaos in the end. Brian Borg in the 017 will finish position number 4, and Thomas Hinds, a fantastic drive on debut in the series, will be position number 5. Blake Warboys, unfortunately, went from P3 to P6 in that final corner melee. Jamie Dyke 7th, Rick Koneskov 8th, potentially another penalty heading his way. Michael Talianchich 9th, and Teo Sorono rounding out the top 10.
If you're a Mustang fan, you'll like the look of that result sheet with Mustangs galore, only the 2 Commodores in the top 10. We move over the page. Michael Whiting and Brendan Nitschke rounding out top 12 with Matt Stewart in 13th. Thomas Freeman a drive back through the field to 14th position. Blake Delaney finishes 15th with Tim Mulford in 16th. Jake Jackson 17th. Josh Schultz in 18th position. Harry Dodds 19th. And then our winner of Super Sport goes to Ty Delaney.
Jack Mickelson in position number 21 in the number 26 machine. John Fillingham, 22nd overall, but P number 2 in the Super Sport category. And that podium is rounded by Jack Anderson in the 319 machine, 23rd overall. Andy Barber, position number 24. Aidan Ford, he was on the walls tonight in the number 98 machine. He'll finish position number 25. Christopher Tomlin was right in the hunt for that P number 2 in Super Sport. Unfortunately, a few mistakes late cost him. He'll finish 26th and 4th in class. Martin Hallahan, Will Jesberg, Shay Nowens, who is a part of that massive incident on the final corner. He'll finish 29th, and unfortunately for David Coleman, a poor night for him, not by his own fault either. He'll finish position number 30.
Yeah, and our last page coming up, Roy Mortensen and Bruce Tannick, Matthew Shanahan, Aidan Schultz, Connor Nixon, PJ Whiteman, Tom Richard, and the safety car finishing head of Luke Swan, who was out very early on, bringing out our first safety car. Let's grab a couple of guys for an interview. Let's just grab both of these guys in one hit. Dylan O'Shea and Andrew Dyson, P1, P2. Domination for DPR in this series. 4 races, 4 wins. Congratulations, guys. Dylan, start with you. After that mistake from Dyson at the front there, you at lap 1, you just drove away from the field. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good race, I thought, by myself. Dyso thankfully gave me the lead into, turn 3, and yeah, was able to just manage the gap from Warboys in that first half of the first stint, and then pull away in the second half, and then that safety car came out, so we had to pit. But after that, it was smooth sailing, really.
Did the safety car mix up any strategy ideas for you, or did that sort of come out at the perfect time and play into your strategy hand?
No, I think it was good for me. I mean, I don't know, it didn't really change much from my side, because I had that gap from Warboys and had no real pressure. So yeah, I thought it was just an easy call to pit and just to keep it simple.
Congratulations on a really good result. We go to you next. Andrew, talk us through what happened at the start of the race there. Was that just a simple mistake of cold tyres, or was there something more that went on there? Or nonetheless, a great drive back through the field.
Yeah, thanks, dude. It's all on me. Basically, I was looking back. I saw someone having a bit of a moment. One car went out really far to the right-hand side of the track, so I kind of had one eye on that, and I was commenting to Dill on where he was, and I just wasn't watching where I was going, and I went straight off the road, and I was like, no. And oh, man, it was so bad. But anyway, man, that safety car came out at the perfect time, gave me the undercut, and then let me cool the tyres down, and that got me back in the race for sure.
Was the strategy around the undercut there okay in regards to fuel? Did you have to save if there was no safety car? Were you right on the limit, or were you okay there?
Oh, when I came out, if there was no safety car, I was right on the limit. So, I mean, that's the way to do it. You got to stop as fast as you can. So, I pushed it as much as I could, and then when the safety car came out, that got me off the hook a little bit in that regard.
How nervous were you when you come out of the pits and came right beside a couple of cars that you're going to have to battle with there? Were you a bit worried that you're going to ruin your new tyres straight off the bat, or was it okay once you realised you got through?
A little bit. I kind of got down to turn 3 and run it deep a little bit, and I'm like, oh no, there's a front lock. Oh, what are you doing? Like, but I got through it.
Oh, congratulations, boys. Phillip Island next round. I'm sure you boys are looking forward to that one.
Yeah, not a bad track. I mean, I'm not probably super awesome there, but Dylan goes pretty well, so should be good.
Bill, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of it. It's good. We got setups there, so we'll see what we can do.
Well, good luck for next week, boys, and congratulations. 4 races, 4 wins for the team. Who wants to do the thank yous and the honours?
Big dog Daiso.
Oh, I suppose Dylan would prefer I do it. Yeah, just a big shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast, all the guys at Global, all the racers for turning out tonight, all the drivers. Thanks for that. Great racing out there tonight too. Congrats to Sebi on 3rd. I know that was a bit of a battle, so looking forward to watching that. And yeah, just a quick one to simrigs.com, South Wales, Ben Max, Phoenix Smokers, and MP Designs for the sick paint jobs, and all the serious sponsors, DSL, all those guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you'll enjoy watching back the last corner of the last lap there in that battle for the final podium spot. Congratulations, boys. Brady, I believe you've got our 3rd place finisher, Seb Vandel, to have a chat to.
Sebastian Vandel, we will bring in for position number 3 tonight. We'll grab him in the booth quickly. Sebastian Vandel, congratulations on position number 3 tonight. Going to the last corner, you probably didn't expect you'd end up here, but fantastic drive nonetheless.
Yeah, thank you. No, I definitely didn't think I was going to have P3 there going in the last lap, but I saw the lap car in front of Blake and Rick, and I thought something would happen, which did happen, and yeah, I just snuck away in 3rd in the end, so it's pretty good. Happy with that.
Certainly a fantastic drive for you. 2nd in points coming to this race tonight, and you've been consistently in the top 5, battling away all series, and another podium again tonight. Certainly must feel good. Coming to a new track as well on the schedule, probably not the easiest of tracks as well in these big V8 touring cars. How did you find it out there tonight?
Well, when I first drove it this morning, I wasn't really enjoying it, but yeah, towards the end of the race here, I'm starting to quite love this track. It really suits the supercar, and yeah, it's nice, flowing, and yeah, I really enjoyed it tonight.
That's awesome to hear. And next week we will head off to Phillip Island for round number 5. Any thoughts heading into that race next week?
Yeah, Phillip Island seems to suit my driving style, so we'll see how we go there, and hopefully we can snag another podium. If not, top 5 will be good just to get some points for the championship.
Once again, congratulations on your position number 3 here tonight. Before we let you go, any sponsors, shout-outs, and anything you want to give out?
Yeah, just a shout out to Pursuit Sim Racing and all the boys that have been working on the setup for tonight. Car was on rails and felt awesome. And shout out to the team sponsors, V&M Simulation and Sideways Photography. And then just also a shout out to my personal sponsors, DSL Welding Services, Hard Metals, Strata Core, Drillers World Australia, Lakes Custom Computers, and Shockwave Science.
That is Sebastian Vandel, P number 3 overall tonight. We will grab in Ty Delaney, your winner of position of the Supersport category tonight. Ty Delaney, fantastic drive for you tonight, mate. Your first win of the series in the Supersport category. We did say on the broadcast between myself and Jay that every week you've been improving, getting faster and faster and more towards the pointy end of this field. And tonight you put it all together and pulled off a fantastic win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It was really close during that whole race, and I was pretty nervous all the way to the end.
Kelly did a fantastic job, and you're battling with a lot of the Super Pro cars as well. You did a fantastic job navigating all that, and tell us about the race and what went on for you.
Well, it was pretty close the entire race, and I was just trying to figure out where I was most of the race, and I wasn't sure whether I was in the middle of the Super Sport cars or the Super Cup cars. Yeah.
A fantastic job for you tonight, Ty. Next week we will head off to Phillip Island for round number 5 of the series. Do you have any thoughts heading into that track next week?
I don't love the track, but I'll definitely put in a lot of practice and try and come out on top again.
Once again, congratulations, Ty. Before we let you go, any sponsor shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah. West End Motor Group, Parramatta Peugeot Professional, West End Mazda, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, DC Shades, Relax, Precision Sim Training, Infinity Designs, DC Shades, and Battery Warehouse.
Thank you for coming for a chat tonight, Ty, and congratulations on the win once again.
Thank you, Bradley. Bradley.
That is Ty Delaney, your winner of the Super Sport category here tonight. And Jay, sounds like a real young fella there too. So really awesome to see the next generation of sim racers coming through and pulling off a fantastic race here tonight.
100%. It's great to feel extremely old listening to voices in the comms box. Just really showing my age when I listen to guys that are kids that feel extremely young. But Phillip Island will bring out the big guns and the big show next week. Always turns on a fantastic race. Another 150 next week before the following week we get into our first 200-kilometre mini enduro at Chicago. But next week, Phillip Island will turn on an absolute epic show. As we said before about lap traffic, find the lap traffic a little bit easier with the bigger circuit, the bit more flow, the extra pace. But this is going to be one to watch. Bring it on next week. Cannot wait.
Yeah, certainly Phillip Island always produces some fantastic racing in these big V8 touring cars, and next week I'm sure it's going to produce some fantastic racing once again. Unfortunately, I won't be in the comms box next week, but hopefully I'll be tuning in. Hopefully some fantastic racing, and will anyone stop the DPR domination so far? Varndell, Borg and Hinds were all right there tonight, even Blake Wallboys until the last corner, but looks like so far Dylan O'Shea and Andrew Johnson just a class above at the moment.
100%. The simrigs.com DPR drivers definitely doing the best out of everyone at this stage, but if anything potentially could happen, it will in the next round. Big thank you to everyone who has been watching behind the scenes. There is your winner, Dylan O'Shea. Congratulations, mate, on a great result. As we said, next week we head to the fantastic... we're just hearing too that there is an incident. A review has come through. We need to get this. This is breaking news. Rick Kuznetsov, the incident of the last corner, has been given a post-race drive-through penalty. So that's important to talk about because that changes a few things in regards to the race results. That will drop him a long way down the standings. So unfortunate, but probably what we expected to come from that incident. We did see that it was pretty adventurous, wasn't it? It was never really going to work with how deep he did get.
Yeah, certainly. Unfortunately for Rick, he tried to put the move on for the last corner for position number 3, but unfortunately just got a little bit wrong. The lap car played a little part in it, but unfortunately he just can't really get into the side of another car there. He cost Wallboys 3 spots, so maybe a little bit of a harsh of a penalty, on just my opinion, but you had to do something to him. Unfortunately, it is a drive-through for Rick, so that will drop him down the field, but nonetheless, you can't take away from what he did before that last corner. He put on a fantastic drive. He was in contention for the podium from starting dead last, so unfortunately for Rick, hopefully he'll be back next week and put on another really good show, and hopefully he can actually qualify next week and give himself half a decent chance to win a race.
41 laps and 13 corners perfectly, just one corner that's caused an incident. Big thank you to the sponsors of the series, DSL Welding Services, Inside Lane Productions and SVR Images for their support of this series. Big thanks to Global Sim Racing League, Global iRacing Leagues behind the scenes, if I can get my words out, for their support and bringing us on for the broadcast as well. And we will be back for more coverage, another big week on SimSpeed next week, next Friday night, as we said. Be back for Phillip Island. Jake Sparrow will be back in the seat once again as well. Make sure you do like, share, subscribe, and stick with us here on SimSpeed. 2023 is going to be huge. We'll be back next week. See you then.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.